Hormones are not a thing that you set once and then just forget about. I'm going to share with you the hormones I use every single day, the practices that keep them working, and the one peptide your doctor probably won't mention. I was gaslit for 5 years and told that my hormone levels were fine. Brain fog so bad, I genuinely thought I had dementia. I shit you not. The peptide that nobody in beauty is naming on camera, but I am about to. Okay, that peptide. I'm 48 and I'm perimenopausal. Now today I am giving you the 10 things that I wish someone had told me about staying hot as fuck through this entire process. I'm going to share with you the hormones I use every single day, the practices that keep them working, and the one peptide your doctor probably won't mention. Listen, I've been on this protocol now for 2 years after I was gaslit for 5 years and told that my hormone levels were fine. And I'll tell you the story of how just when I thought I had it all dialed in, I had to start all over. Hi friend, I'm Cynthia Garcia, and this is I'd Like to Thank Myself. All right, quick disclaimer, I cuss a lot. That's just how I talk. Now, if that's not for you, that's okay, but this is your stop. But if you stay, don't talk shit in the comments because I just warned you. And if you are staying, grab a drink because we have got some stuff to talk about. And if you love this kind of thing, then I would say hit subscribe because I'm here helping you get hot as fuck every Tuesday. So here's how it goes for most of us. You spend your whole life being told the good stuff comes later. The wisdom, the confidence, finally not giving a single mouse fuck what anybody thinks. And then you hit your 40s and your body goes, great job. Here's your reward for making it through all the crazy shit that you've made it through. And the reward? The reward is night sweats, a chin hair with the structural integrity of rebar, and suddenly you're sobbing at an Instagram video of some other woman's kid heading off to college because all you can think about is your own daughter doing the same shit in a couple of years. And what is even going on? That's the reward. Thank you, but I'd like to return it. That was me. Brain fog so bad, I genuinely thought I had dementia. I shit you not. I was wiped out every day by about 2 p.m., snapping at everybody I love and lying awake at 3 a.m. wondering where the fuck the old me went, how I get her back, and why can't I just sleep? So I started on hormones. Now, the internet wants you to believe that hormones are a magic pill. You take them and problem solved. And that's a lie. It's a beautiful lie, but that shit is still a lie. They only work if you use them right. Anybody telling a 45-year-old woman to just get on hormones and she will be fine is setting her up to fail. So I've been at this, like I said, for a couple years now. I read my own labs. I've got every doctor in this city on speed dial, and I've been a clinical nutritionist coaching health professionals for 20 years, and I am still dialing this in. So for me, being hot as fuck at 48 is skin that still catches the light. It's a body with some shape to it. It's sleep that makes you look like you've had work done, and energy that's both impressive and a little bit intimidating, plus a sex drive that has you eyeing your husband across the kitchen like he's the dessert cart. Hormones unlock all of it. Now, they don't hand you over the body like you've just placed an order on DoorDash. They give you back the body that finally does the shit it was supposed to do in the first place. So I'm going to tell you 5 ways I use hormones every day, the practices that keep them working, the one peptide that helps all of it that your doctor probably won't bring up unless you ask, and the reason I bother with any of this shit at 48. So as I said before, grab your drink and let's get into it. Okay, number 1 on my list is estradiol gel. This is the foundation. I rub it on 15 seconds in the morning and I am done. So let me tell you what estrogen actually does because it took me a minute to make some sense of it too, and I get a lot of questions about this. So estrogen kind of runs everything in a woman's body. Your skin, your sleep, your brain, your mood, you get it. Whether you want sex or whether you want everyone within 30 feet of you to leave you the fuck alone, that's estrogen. So when it stops dropping in your 40s, you don't just feel off, you look off. That glow you had at 30 and took for granted because you just figured it was your face, that is gone. Turns out it was estrogen, and she packed her shit and left without a forwarding address, like she still owed you money for rent. You start looking tired in every photo, even when you slept totally fine. And before I started on it, my face just kind of felt grayer. It looked like somebody snuck in overnight and turned my saturation down. So I started estradiol 2 years ago. And about 3 weeks in, I looked in the mirror and my face was lit up again. Right? Saturation dialed back up. It was plumper, awake. It was like me, but just the version of me who actually slept 8 hours and drank her water. So if your doctor says to you that your estrogen is fine because it's in range, don't accept that. Ask for the actual number, your estradiol level, not just whether or not it's technically normal, because normal for your age is doctor speak for just leave me alone. Stop asking so many questions. So that's the first one. Number one down, 4 more plus the practices plus the peptide. So number 2 is the one that gave me my sleep back. And if you don't have your sleep, you do not look hot as fuck. I don't care how much makeup. I don't care. You're not going to look good. So number 2 is oral progesterone. Now I take it at bedtime. Progesterone is the one that calms you down. I know some of you are like, I need more of that. It's the hormone that finally lets your brain shut the fuck up at 11 p.m. instead of replaying things that you should have said to somebody back in 2009. You remember it, right? Fucking Susie, the whole thing. Anyway, but listen, don't give her too much credit because she's usually the first one to bail on you somewhere in your late 30s or early 40s. Not Susie, the progesterone. Every doctor in town is patting your hand, telling you that you're fine. And again, progesterone is trying to find estrogen so she can fucking join her. Here's why I care about progesterone for being hot. You cannot fake a good night's sleep. You just can't. There's no cream, no serum, no concealer thick enough to hide it when you've been running on 4 broken hours of sleep. Tired shows up on your face before anything else does. Now, before I started taking progesterone, I'd wake up looking like I'd been interrogated under a heat lamp all night long and confess to a felony I didn't commit. Now, you should also know that it makes me a little drowsy, which some women complain about, but I fucking love it. I love it. I look forward to my progesterone at night the way I look forward to the first sip of champagne after a long week of work. Don't judge me. I just do. I don't give a fuck. So if you're lying there at 3 a.m. doing math about how many hours you've got left before the alarm, you might need some progesterone. Go get it checked. Okay, 2 ways down, 3 to go, plus the practices, plus the peptide. But before I give you number 3, I have to tell you what happened to me last month because I almost wanted to just give up. And it's the exact thing that I feel like people just don't talk about. And it's also the reason that most women think their hormones are working when they actually aren't. So number 3 is the part where I just wanted to give up. And I'm telling you so you don't do the same thing. So one morning last month, woke up 4 a.m. I know I did not have my alarm set for 4 a.m. I just woke up ready to go. And for a minute, I was confused because I thought, did I go outside and just take a dip in the middle of the pool in the middle of the night? Because my pajamas were soaked. And immediately I was like, shit, this is night sweats. And I could feel the hormone migraine starting. If you know, you know. It's the kind where you lose the entire day because you have to just shut the blinds and start bargaining with God like you've got something to offer him. I couldn't believe it. 2 years in, sleeping, glowing, my brain was back. Like I genuinely thought I had cracked the hormone code and that I was done forever. And that was stupid because here I was back at 4 a.m., soaked, migraine, feeling just defeated as a motherfucker. So here's the most important thing that I'm going to say probably in this entire episode. Hormones are not a thing that you set once and then just forget about. Like you get your protocol and you're just done for life. No, I wish. Your body keeps changing. Stress changes it. Bad sleep changes it. Going through just a hard season of life will change it. The dose that had me glowing in the spring quit on me by the fall. And I had to stop and realize that this is not me failing, and it wouldn't be you failing either. It's just how this whole thing works. The women being told, get on hormones and you're set for life, are all going to hit this exact wall and think they somehow fucked up. They didn't. Things change in life, in our bodies, and your dosing has to change with it. So if you've been feeling amazing and then the night sweats come back, the 4 a.m. wake ups come back, the migraines come back, that is your signal. Go back to your doctor, get your labs, and adjust your dosing as needed. Don't just white knuckle it for 6 more months, hoping that it sorts itself out. Because every week you wait is another week that your face, your sleep, your sex drive, your hot as fuckness goes down with the dose. It will not sort itself out on its own. Listen, I'm 2 years in and I'm still adjusting because giving up wasn't an option. The alternative is just simply unacceptable. Okay, that's number 3. Now, before we keep moving, I want to just give you a quick notice because everything that I've been talking about is exactly the kind of thing we get into inside the Vanity Club. The Vanity Club is where the women fighting for this trade doctors' names, compare what doses worked, and figure out what to do when their regular doctor says no to hormone replacements or peptide or literally anything else. I share with you the labs that I run, the questions to ask before you let anybody write your prescription, what I actually do when my body decides to change the rules and the migraine shows back up. We talk about it in there every single day. So if you are tired of being told you're fine when you know you're not, and you want a community of women just like you who want to stay hot as fuck at any age, come and join us. The link is in the description. Okay, number 4 is testosterone. It's a cream I use every single day. Now, testosterone is the most underprescribed hormone for women and the one that most doctors won't even bring up unless you ask. So ask. It does 3 things for me that I just won't live without. Number 1, drive. Yeah, I'm talking about sex drive, and also more than that. I mean, the drive to get up in the morning, to take up space, to give a fuck about my own day. You see, when testosterone is low, you don't even notice because you kind of stop wanting things. So there's nothing to miss. You just quietly turn into a woman who's fine. And I'm just not available to be fine. Number 2 is muscle. And this is the hill that I swear I'll die on. The hottest thing a woman can do after 40 is to build some muscle. And I just feel like nobody talks about this in terms of beauty. It is the beauty thing. The woman who looks unbelievable at 48 and beyond is not the one with the most expensive serum. She's the one with shape, with tone, with arms that look incredible in the dress. That's muscle. And you build it in the gym with weights by actually showing the fuck up. And testosterone is what makes that work for us after 40 because without it, you can lift for a solid year and watch your body do absolutely nothing, which is kind of the most depressing math in the world. As I said before, hormones don't just hand over the body like a DoorDash delivery. Remember I said that. They give you back the body that finally does the shit it was supposed to do in the first place. You get it now. Okay, moving on. The third thing is my brain and my mood. So this is where testosterone really shows up. I think clearer and, well, I have way less rage at small things. I just do. Fucking judge me, whatever. The people who cut me off on the freeway used to make me think the felony charge would be worth it. I mean, I considered it for a minute. Now I just slow down and let it go, mostly. If your doctor will only test total testosterone, that's not enough. Ask for free testosterone too. That's the part that your body can actually use. And most doctors won't run it unless you ask. So ask. Be the most annoying patient they've seen all week. I believe in you. All right, so that is number 4, testosterone. One more hormone, then the practices, and then a peptide that I genuinely fight a stranger over in a parking lot. Now, number 5 is, I just feel like the one that women don't talk about. It kind of makes sense why they wouldn't talk about it, but I'm going to. All right, number 5 is a vaginal estrogen insert. Yep, tiny little pellet that stays right where you put it, and it barely touches the rest of your body. Listen, again, no one talks about this because it sounds clinical cool and about as sexy as doing your taxes. But it is the difference between sex being something that you grit your teeth through at 48 and sex being something that you actually want and enjoy. Now that estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are doing their jobs, I want to actually enjoy what they're giving me, starting with sex that I actually want to have. But here's what happens as we get older that we don't talk about. When estrogen drops and the tissue down there starts getting dry and thin, you start getting UTIs that you never used to get. Sex starts to be uncomfortable. And then your body says, no thank you, before your brain even gets to have a say in it. And most women just decide that something is wrong with them. But really, nothing is wrong with you. It's just that your body ran out of estrogen in the one place that nobody's bringing up at brunch or anywhere for that matter. I don't know, whatever. This little insert puts it right back where you need it. And a lot of women who can't take other hormones can still use this one. Keeps your tissue nice and healthy. It is critical, so ask about it. Now, the beauty payoff, because you know there's always one with me. You know that glow that a woman has the morning after she's actually had a good time. You know the kind, don't play, you know. You can't buy that glow at Sephora. You just can't. You can't fake it with highlighter. It comes from a night that you wake up and text your bestie about. And that kind of a night doesn't start with tequila. I mean, I guess sometimes it does though. Sometimes it does. But it also starts with a body that's primed and ready to go. And this is what gets you there. All right, that's 5 down. Stay with me because the practices are where most people blow the whole thing. But first, number 6 is estrogen. And I'm putting it somewhere that you probably wouldn't expect. I know, I'm putting that shit right on my face. All right, number 6 is the same estradiol gel from the morning. Remember I told you about it, but I put a little bit right on my face. I just take whatever's left over on my hands and on the old face it goes. This is something that I went looking for and wish I'd known 10 years ago. You see, your skin is covered in estrogen receptors. And when estrogen drops, your collagen drops right along with it. Your skin gets thinner. It loses that plump, that lit from within thing that, again, you had at 30 and took for granted. So I put, again, a little bit of estradiol gel right on my face on top of using it for my whole body. Now, not a lot. It's just whatever's left over after I rub it on in the morning, but I do it on purpose. And about 3 weeks after I'd been doing this, my skin was like, oh, thank God, where have you been? I looked so much better. I had that natural glow. The texture was gone. It was amazing. Now, I also use my rewritten Show the Face Up serum, but not to replace estrogen because no serum can, let's be honest. But Show the Face Up does a completely different job. It clears out the zombie cells, aging my face from the inside, while the estrogen repairs what those little fuckers are wrecking in the first place. It's 2 different problems and 2 different tools. I use both morning and night on clean, dry skin, always first. If you're going to spend money on your face after 45, spend it on the hormones that your face stopped making, and then put your skincare on top. Okay, that's 5 hormones I use, including the sneaky face trick. Now, you might be wondering how I even know if any of this is working. So let me tell you exactly how I keep the score. People ask me all the time how I know if my hormones are dialed in. And the answer is I track them with blood work every 4 to 6 months. 4 if something feels a little bit off, 6 if I'm feeling like $1,000,000. And we'll get into the labs in just a minute. But I'll tell you the other way I track them. I track them by how I look at Zach on a Tuesday afternoon when he gets back home from a sweaty round of golf. I know, stay with me, Linda. If I'm looking at him like, oh, hey there, come here often, I know the protocol is working. If I look at him and my first thought is, oh, for the love of God, just please go shower, the protocol is slipping. And here's the truth. Everybody wants to make this whole conversation about health, and it is. I do these things because I want to be healthy at 70, 80, and beyond. But I also do this because I want to be hot and sharp and dangerous at those ages as well. I want both. I want it all. Health is the cover story, but hot as fuck is the truth. And anybody in the wellness world who tells you that it's shallow to want that can just go home and stay there. Okay, now let's talk about the practices that keep this whole hormones show running. We're halfway there, 3 more to go, 2 practices and 1 peptide that I guarantee your doctor isn't talking about, but that can change your life. And real quick, before we keep going, if you've been sitting here nodding along this whole time thinking, wait, but where do I start? What do I ask for? And who do I even go see? That conversation is happening every single day inside the Vanity Club. Women trading doctors' names, comparing what doses have worked, holding each other up when their doctor says no. The link is in the description if you want to come and join us. All right, number 7 is cortisol. And this is the hormone that you can't supplement away. I know, I wish you could. That bitch is here to stay. So the first time I heard cortisol, I genuinely thought that it was what they give you when your knees ached. True story. Turns out that was cortisone. Totally different thing. I know. Pray for me. So if you're sitting there thinking, I don't really know what that is either, you're not alone. Here's what it actually is. So cortisol is your stress hormone. And this little fucker can disrupt every other hormone that you are working so hard to dial in. It blunts your estrogen, it suppresses your progesterone, it tells your body to deprioritize muscle, sleep, sex, your skin, all the good stuff that we literally just talked about, which means every minute that your cortisol is jacked, your hottest fuckness is going downhill. Here's why. Cortisol has exactly one job: to get you out of real danger. The kind where something's physically trying to end you. Like, this is no joke kind of danger that we're talking about. It floods your system with everything that you need to either run or throw a punch. I mean, that's helpful, right? We all need that. But the problem is your body from way back in the day has never updated its software. It runs that same emergency program, whether your life is actually on the line or you just opened your inbox. It cannot tell the two apart, so it treats all of it like the building is on fire. There is no fire. There's just a teenager who borrowed the car without asking, aging parents, and a business that you get up every day and try to run. There's a team that you need to help move things forward, and there's a beauty routine for me that should honestly qualify me for the Olympics. But my body doesn't know the difference. Cortisol shows up like it's all the same emergency. Now, here's the important part. There's no pill for this. No patch, no powder. Cheryl from your gym is trying to sell you things that fix it, but sorry, Cheryl, fucking Maca isn't doing it. So I walk, I lift heavy, I sleep, I say no to shit that doesn't actually matter, and I stop competing to be the most exhausted woman in the room. And I also stop giving a fuck what anybody thinks about all of it. So if your sleep is broken and you cannot lose that belly fat no matter what you do, chances are that could be cortisol. So get your morning cortisol levels tested. All right, that's 7. We've got 2 more to go, including that peptide. So number 8 is what I do every 4 to 6 months that keeps everything we talked about from falling completely apart. It's also why this episode isn't 4 hours long, because I am going to hit it and quit it with you. Are you ready? All right. Number 8 is getting my labs done every 4 to 6 months. Remember, I mentioned this: 4 if something feels off, 6 is up if I'm feeling like I'm $1,000,000. So here's the thing that took me forever to figure out. The protocol is the labs. Without the labs, you're guessing. With the labs, you're just tweaking and adjusting. And we already covered what happens when your dose stops working and you don't adjust, right? You end up standing in your kitchen at 4 a.m. sweating and bargaining with God. We've all been there. Translation is, without labs, your hot as fuck runs out of gas and you don't even know why. I mean, how could you know? How could you possibly know? Now, most doctors will run the bare minimum. They'll do estradiol, maybe progesterone, total testosterone, and done. But that's not enough. There is a whole panel of numbers that you actually need to see. And most of them won't get run unless you specifically ask. So ask. Here are 3 that I always make sure they run that most doctors skip. Free T3, not just TSH for your thyroid. TSH tells you what your brain is signaling, which is cool. We need to know that. But free T3 is what your body is actually using. Then SHBG, that's the protein that binds your testosterone up and leaves you symptomatic, even though your total testosterone looks fine. That one is super important. And reverse T3. This is the brake pedal on your thyroid that goes up under stress and shuts your whole thyroid down, even when everything else looks normal. These three are so critical for you to really understand the full picture of what's actually going on with your hormones. So write those down. The other trick that I do that I feel like everybody should do is I read my own labs before I even have the appointment. Because you get your test results back first, at least I do. And then I take a look at them and I note my concerns and my thoughts long before I sit down with my doctor. Not because I don't trust her. I do. But I do it because my body is mine to live in. And I don't want to just hand off the whole blueprint to someone whose, timer is running for my appointment in particular. It's so important to educate yourself on how to read your own labs. I know it's not sexy, it's not fun, it's not how you want to spend your Saturday night, but if you took even 1 or 2 Saturday nights and spent them learning how to do this every other Saturday night, could be amazing because you know what the fuck is going on with your own body. Now, if I listed every lab I had run, we'd be here for about 4 hours, but you can find them in the Vanity Club if you want to join me there. The important thing to remember is ask for a full hormone panel, not the standard intake. Push for the full thing because most doctors won't run it unless you do. All right, that's 8. There is 1 left, and the peptide that nobody in beauty is naming on camera, but I am about to. Okay, that peptide, can I have a drum roll, please? It is the peptide called PT141. I know, the name sounds like R2D2's cousin, but it's not. Just stay with me. It is the sleeper peptide that I don't see a lot of people talking about, but you need to know it. So here's what it is. PT141 is a peptide that flips on the desire switch in your brain. That's true, ladies. If you're missing out on that desire, this is what you're looking for. It is actually FDA approved for premenopausal women with low libido under the name Vyleesi, which kind of sounds like a character in Game of Thrones. But here's the catch for us ladies. It is approved for premenopausal women. Did you catch that part? Which means for our age, it's off label, technically. That doesn't mean it's risky. It just means that your doctor actually has to be willing to give it to you. Some of them won't, some of them will. That's a doctor problem, not a you problem. Remember earlier when I told you that one of the ways I track my hormones is by how I look at Zach when he gets home from a sweaty round of golf? Okay, well, PT141 is the thing that I go to when I know my hormones are dialed in, but the drive still isn't all the way back. See, drive is like the Wi-Fi signal, right? Everything else can be there, but if the signal is off, nothing connects. Now, as I said before, really, I don't see anybody in beauty talking about this peptide, and here's why. The wellness world has not figured out how to talk about a woman wanting sex on purpose without being judged for it. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm probably not. Most people won't talk about it. Most creators won't bring it up. Most doctors won't bring it up. And the women who could actually use this information are sitting in their cars in the grocery store parking lot wondering if it's just them. They're questioning their marriage, and I don't want that for them. It is not you. We've all hit that part of midlife where the drive that used to show up uninvited now needs a fucking engraved invitation. But there's a tool for that. And the fact that nobody's talking about it, I think that's the bigger problem. So again, PT141. Ask your doctor. If they look at you like you just asked for a controlled substance at the airport, find a new doctor. All right, that's 9. There's 1 left. This is the closer, the one that brings it all together. This is the reason I bother with any of this shit in the first place. Number 10, why I bother. People ask me all the time, Cynthia, why the labs? Why the peptides? Why the skincare and the treatment and the protocols and the appointments? Why do all of this when I could just let it go? But here's the answer. For me, you do you. For me, the alternative is just unacceptable. And let me tell you what I mean. When I was a teenager, my mom walked into the living room one day. I was sitting on our little couch, and she said to me, "So, do you know about your menstrual cycle?" Listen, Linda, I was humiliated. I was embarrassed. I'm sitting there wishing the couch would just swallow me up in it, kind of like that scene in Nightmare on Elm Street with Johnny Depp on the bed and he gets sucked down into it. Do you remember that? I don't know. Anyways, we didn't talk about things like this in my house, so I was mortified. So I just mumbled, "Yeah." And she said, "Okay, cool," and walked out. That was our entire conversation about my body ever. Now, years later, she went through what she called the change. And I remember watching her struggle. The hot flashes, the mood swings, the whole personality changing right in front of me. We never talked about that either. She just suffered in silence. And I was a teenager, so I was dumb as fuck. And I just thought she was being dramatic. I know. I had no idea what she was actually going through. And now, well, now I do. And I think about her a lot while I'm doing these things, while I'm getting my labs and so on and so forth, because she didn't have the option. She didn't have the information. She didn't have a doctor who would listen to her or prescribe these things. She had nobody telling her any of this stuff was even possible. And I also think about my daughter, Rain. And I refuse to let her grow up watching me fade silently the way I watched my mom. We are going to talk about this out loud. She is going to see me navigate it empowered, healthy, confident, energized, still building the life of my dreams. We're not going to whisper about this in the dark. We are going to talk about this out motherfucking loud. You know, when I first started taking hormones a couple of years ago, I admit I was scared. I was scared that my husband, Zach, would see me as old, that me being on hormone replacement therapy would be a turnoff to him, right? Like I'm not that youthful, young, little supple thing. I didn't even tell him when I first started because that's what I learned in my house growing up. You don't talk about this stuff. 2 years later, he can't keep up with me. And he's asking questions. He wants to know more. He wants to understand it and know how he can support me through it. Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm vain. I want to be hot as fuck at 70, at 110. Not for him, not for anybody else, but for me. I want to be in the pool with my grandkids in a swimsuit. I want to travel. I want to see the pyramids in Egypt. I want to continue to build my business that changes women's lives and reminds them that they were never meant to fade. And I want to have the energy to do all of this and more. And I don't give a single mouse fuck, as I've said before, what anybody thinks about that. But I do give all the fucks about sharing what's possible when we decide we're worth it. So, a toast. Let me get my champagne. So I'd like to thank myself for not accepting a normal for your age from any single person, for showing up at 4 a.m. soaked wet with a migraine and going back to my doctor instead of just giving up and hoping it worked itself out, for saying PT 141 out loud on camera because nobody else is saying it, for not telling Zach at first because I was scared he'd see me as old, and for telling you now because I'm not anymore. To the teenager sitting in the living room all those years ago who got one sentence about her own body and said yes because she was too humiliated to say no. To the woman who decided her daughter would never have to do that. To my mom who didn't have any of this, and to Rain who's going to have all of it. To the woman my younger self would have been scared of. To who we are, to who we were, and to the hot bitches we're becoming. For that and so much more, I'd like to thank myself. Cheers. Always hits the spot.